Hello, and welcome to today's VKEYSS Impact Maker series. Today, I have a very special guest. He's a Nigerian medical illustrator and a student at Kyiv Medical University in Ukraine. He is the creator of the viral Black fetus image that caught the attention of the world since November last year. He wants his drawing to address and promote diversity and inclusion. At the age of 25 years, Chidiebere is a self-taught medical illustrator who is now known for his work. He is the only Nigerian medical illustrator and professional among the few in Africa. He has been featured in numerous platforms and media houses, including CNN, BBC, Forbes, and many more. He is passionate about illustration of Black patients. Today, we are going to have a chat to him about impact, diversity, inclusion, and many more. So join me to welcome today Chidiebere Ibe. Welcome to the studio.
Thank you. Thank you for having me today.
Thank you. So basically, VKEYSS Impact Maker series is a platform where we talked to a number of different people who help about what they are doing and the impact they are having on the world as a whole. And your story has come across because of some of the issues that I have personally encountered and also my family has encountered. So I thought we'll have a chat to you and also to help our viewers and listeners to understand the work that you have been doing around the world. So thank you and welcome again, Chidiebere.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. So my very first question is about your work that came to the attention of the world last November. Tell us a little bit about when you wake up that day and saw this illustration going viral. What was the impact that that has on you as a person? Looking at where you are as a student, and also from one of the conversations I had, I heard you saying was that this was not your very first illustration. So tell us about the impact that that particular drawing had on you as a person.
All right. Thank you for asking that. So first of all, I would love to say that I wasn't expecting the drawing to go viral, right? Because I have created other illustrations that should have gone viral, but this particular one, caught me off, off balance and all of that. But as a student, as a young person, I felt very grateful for this opportunity for that particular moment because it was something that I had to think about, I had to understand the reason or the depth to which the drawing, or the reason why the drawing went viral. And then I had to understand that this is something to be grateful for because, I mean, for a long period of time, I think I was prepared for this particular moment. And so when the drawing went viral, I wasn't particularly surprised because I had worked hard for this particular moment, but it's going. At being at a very early time in my life, right,
Yeah.
was something that I did not expect. I didn't expect, and I was amazed. I was sincerely amazed, and I was quite emotional at some point.
Yeah.
But I had to, make wise use of the opportunity. Had to sit back and understand the reasons and understand. I mean, what can be done with this particular opportunity. So particularly, I was actually very surprised. I was amazed. And I was, it was intense, really, really intense for me. Yeah.
That's powerful. That's really powerful. You know, you did mention, and this is the part that really hits me really hard. As you can see here, I've written a book called What Has That Got to Do with It? Why Some People Succeed Where Others Fail. In other words, you don't just wake up one day and then you are successful and everybody's seen your work. What happens is you are saying that you have done a number of illustrations before this particular one went viral. The question is, how come all the other ones didn't go viral? And this one is the one that goes viral. It means that before you succeed at one particular thing, there are things that could be going on. Some of them will not be succeeding, but all you need is to hit one that will be successful and have an impact on someone else. So tell us a little bit about some of the other illustrations that you did that having gone viral. What do you think was the difference between the ones you did the one that went viral and the one that didn't go viral?
Well, so I would say that the difference is not that I use any particular skin tone, right? Because there's always been a black illustrations.
Yeah.
And I've done like one other pregnancy illustration before this went viral. But I think the reason why this went viral was because it has to do with mother and child, right? Which
Yes.
is a big topic in the health sector. I mean, recently the issue of mother and child has been up and up, has been so much big topic in the health sector today. And being the fact that people didn't really see, or people hadn't seen a drawing of a black fetus before. I mean, for those who are in the health sector, they haven't seen. I mean, even if they were, they actually didn't see. So particularly, that's the reason why that drawing went viral. In as much as I had drawn other illustrations, other anatomy, other areas, surgical procedures, but this was focused on childbirth,
Yes.
which at the point where that drawing went viral was there was a lot of issues among black women, right? Where black women were not given, equal healthcare attention or equal healthcare respect. And so the drawing was more of a tool for advocacy, more of a voice speaking up for the black pregnant women who wants to be heard and wants to advocate for, for equal healthcare rights.
Yeah.
So that's the particular reason why the drawing went viral. I missed other drawing that I have done so far.
Yeah. That's really powerful. I must say, the first time I saw the drawing, it was like that sort of thing. It's in your face. You just cannot ignore it. Whether you like it or not, it's in your face. It's relatable. But the most important thing about it is that you haven't seen anything like it before. So you have a closer look and you have a look again. Talking about Black women or Black, because it's mother and child, and we all know the source, we all come through a mother. So that also resonates, whether you are a man or you are a woman, it's in your face. You just cannot ignore it. But the most powerful aspect is that we haven't seen such a thing in a textbook before, like you are doing and drawing attention to. So the beauty of this is, for me personally, because my mom, my late mother was misdiagnosed, and out of that diagnosis, she couldn't survive. And so when I saw this drawing illustration of yours, I cannot tell you what happened. I was shaking. I feel like, well, that's me in my mother's womb, right? But here I am. Right. I'm here, but my mother is gone because my mother was misdiagnosed. She couldn't survive. And that particular thing just kind of hit me. And since then, I didn't let go of this. I can't tell you, I have it saved on my phone and I'm looking at it. And the day that you agreed to appear on this program, particularly, I was crying the whole day. I just didn't know what I was going to tell you. Because of the impact this had on me, I wanted to see you and tell you in person that is, if this illustration hasn't done anything for anybody at all, to me, that has hit me more than anything. Now, I'm getting a little bit emotional. I promised myself that when I see you today, I'm not gonna get emotional. But I just want to tell you the depth of how far this has traveled. It doesn't matter where you are. This is reality. This is about humanity. We all have blood through our bodies, and we all experience disappointment and personal things. So for me, this is very personal. So even just to have you here, it's huge. I just want to thank you again for honoring this particular opportunity to talk to me. But the thing is, back to the fact that the Black people do not have the access to this sort of diagnosis. So if you have, and I have personally went to see a doctor where the doctor says, well, I don't know anything about Black people, so I don't know what I should do for you, but if you don't mind, yeah, I can just have a look and see what I can do to. He told me he did not study anything in the textbook in regards to Black people. So not only did my mother die out of misdiagnosis, myself, I was face to face with this sort of thing, and I'm here and my mom is gone. So that particular picture it's going to be hanging in my house. Unfortunately, I can't do anything about it because it spoke to me at a level that many people may not even understand. So once again, thank you for telling us about this. But then my next, what I want to, well, I want to hear from you what you have to say in regards to what I went through and what my mom went through. What does that mean to you? And I know that you have, a lot of people have spoken to you in regards to that, but tell us about how many people resonate or how many people reacted to this sort of misdiagnosis that has to come through the fact that many of the doctors do not have access to this level of illustration in front of them to be able to deal with the situation.
Well, it's something very pathetic, I would say, to be very honest with you, because as advanced as a health system is, as advanced as we are in this ecosystem, we are striving for development, trying to make things better. As integral or as important as representation, people haven't paid real attention to it. Now, when this joint went viral, people reached out to me and said that, I had a black woman reach out to me and said that she went to a dermatologist asking for, she first had skin cancer, right? So, and doctor responded that black people don't have skin cancer. And that's amazing to hear. Yeah. So, your story is quite very touching, and there've been lots of stories like this where black women, where actually misdiagnosed, black women had, they were not given attention to because the doctor had no prior experience to taking care of this skin condition on black patients. Yeah. And that is why this drawing is important, and that's why this representation is very important. Recently, people have advocated for diversity, for equity, inclusion, and respect, but they've forgotten that representation is the foundation to all of this. Yes. Because medical students in training who will become medical doctors eventually in the future, when they're not trained with diverse material, when they're not trained with textbooks that show black people, when they're not trained with textbooks that represent black people, they will not have the experience to taking care or the experience to approaching some skin conditions on black patients. Exactly. And that's the result of what happened to you, right? Because the doctor, while the medical school wasn't trained with these resources, and all what they'll tell you is that I have no experience on how to take care of this. Yeah. But if nobody has think about it, oh, I have no experience about this, right? What's the way forward to solving this problem? Yes. And I'm glad that other people are working towards addressing it, but more should be done. Yes. Because recently, because the goal of the health system, right, is by 2030, that the world has a universal health coverage, right, where everybody receives a good quality healthcare accessibly, right, where healthcare is accessible to everybody. Yeah. But the question is, the measure to doing that, are we very diverse enough? Are we considering representation as a tool to achieving like universal health coverage? Yes. Because as important as anything, the tool to achieving that, I believe, is representation. Yes. Because not only you, a lot of people has lost their life because there has not been proper representation. Yes. And there has also been an increased infant mortality rate because the doctor in quote has no prior experience to taking care of black pregnant women simply because there has not been proper representation. Yes. There is so much around there's so much that's happening around lack of representation that affected a lot in the health sector. So from my findings and from my research, I say this and everywhere, that the only way to address this issue is to take into key consideration that representation is a factor. Now, the thing is this now, from the senses, right? Visual is one of the most powerful senses, right? We have the visual, the sight, we have the nose. Yes. But visual is the most powerful sense. Yes. And we can use the senses, the visual sense, to harness and to improve our healthcare. Because now, the reason why this drawing went viral was because people were able to see this powerful drawing, right? But people in the past were advocating, were speaking about it. Yes, that is good. But people were not seeing it, right? So that's why the drawing was able to go viral. So more of the drawing should be created if we are working towards empowering, or if we're working towards solving these healthcare equities. More of these drawings should be created. They in turn would improve our healthcare. They in turn would improve how women are valued. Would also in turn improve how patients would have the confidence to walk into a hospital and know that these are conditions would be well taken care of. So this is premise on how well we pay attention to representation.
This is so powerful. What you just said is so powerful. You know, when I was reading about your positioning of what you are doing, the impact you want to have a key impact in diversity and inclusion. These are two powerful words, but they mean a particular thing. You see, a lot of people can have the diversity where, let's say, they have the textbook, but if they don't give the textbook to the doctors or to use it as part of the representation that you were talking about and give them access to it for them to practice it and use it so that when they come to their own practitioners and hospitals so they can use it on patients, then we are not doing well. So what you are doing is that you want to help saturate the health system with textbook and illustrations and videos and whatever that is needed. So then it's very accessible to the doctors so that when they have a patient like I did, so my doctor cannot say to me that, oh, I don't know anything about it or something. But if he can Google that and see that in front of him, or have a textbook or have a medical journal in front of him that address this particular issue, then it becomes a lot easier for the doctor to be able to treat the patients. And this is where we can minimize the death and people that are dying. Women in particular are at the receiving end because then we have to go through a lot of things when it comes to childbirth. So this is one of the reasons why the visuals you are talking about, it's so powerful. If I go to my doctor and my doctor is not even aware of these things and I have a textbook or journal that addresses these things, that can provide him even some information that he might want to pay attention to. And this is why I think the visual representation that you have done is as powerful as anything. But the beauty of it is that technology has come in conjunction with art and technology, met medicine. And the dance floor is loaded with so much that the whole world can glean from that. And this is how I got excited, because not only am I interested in art, but to see it in front of me in a powerful way of representation, this is so great. So my next question is this. You are only 25 years and you are only the only Nigerian represented among professionals around the world. You are among some of the top neurosurgeons, like you are represented in different categories, and you are only 25. Now, some people can only dream of this in their entire life. You are 25 and you have the whole world at your feet. I know that what you wanted to do is to impact the Black community in this area. But one of the key things that stood out for me was the humility with which you are going about all of these things. So tell me about what this means to you as a young guy at 25 years, an African and Nigerian, of course, as such, but also as a student. So you have three different elements that are just impacting you and people your age at this time. Tell us a little bit about how you are dealing with these things as a student, as an African, as a Nigerian, and as a 25-year-old person.
Well, I must say it's very difficult, first of all. Being a student, right, is difficult. Being a Nigerian also
Yeah.
difficult.
Yeah.
And trying to manage the whole thing is difficult. But what I understand is, I mean, I came from a very humble background, right? I came from a very soft background. And that's the reason why there's a need to stay very humble amidst all of this. Because everything hasn't really been good from the start, right? I built myself up to this point.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why it's important that I stay humble amidst all of this. And also, as a student that's seeing this coming right now, I mean, before me, it's quite a lot of reasons to lose distractions about the
Yes.
major goal, right? But the goal wasn't to be famous, as I said in all my interviews. The goal wasn't to be famous. The goal was just to help people to live their dreams, and that's the focus, right? So basically, as a young person, I won't let this affect my focus or let this affect the big picture that I'm looking at, because this is just the tip of an iceberg. There's always and still more to do with this. So I would say it's actually very difficult for me at this moment. It's actually one of the toughest time in my life, right? Trying to balance academic work, trying to balance the whole popularity trying to balance work life also, because I still have to keep doing a lot of work. And it's difficult, I must say, but I mean, that's why the energy is there as a young person to keep on doing what's important in my life and keep on striving more and more. I mean, there is no point for laxity, there's no point to feel relaxed or to feel that I've arrived. I mean, this is not being this is just the start, right? So it's I would say it's difficult, but as I earlier said, I came from a very humble background, right? Which has taught me discipline, which has taught me how to not plateau when we achieve success, but to keep pushing forward and forward. And there's still more to do as a young person for me, and uh, and I'm trusting God as a young person to help me, you know, push this forward and to keep on working hard and to keep on doing this. And because my main goal is to be a medical doctor also, and that's the big picture also in front of me. So I won't let this for popularity as an illustrator take away the big goal as a doctor, which I was supposed to be. So I'm trying to achieve that, and I'm going to work hard to achieve that.
Thank you very much. A lot of people, young people, think that, oh, I'm in Africa, or I'm an African. I mean, there's not much I can do. I'm just in Africa. You are self-taught. You taught yourself this stuff. You spend your day, you are focused on it. This is what I want to do. I'm intrigued about this. I want to learn more. I want to do more. It doesn't matter whether you are in your room in Africa, who you are. I keep saying, you take it with you. What your passions are, what your determinations are with you. You carry them with you. When opportunity presents itself, it's up to you how you use that to expand on what you want to do. And your background that you were talking about as an African, or from your family, you were brought up this way. Someone would have been saying that, well, now I'm famous, I'm not coming to a program like this because it's not as big as CNN or it's not as big as BBC. But then you said, I'm coming, and you did turn up. Now, who you are is straight through that sort of approach. That's why you said you did not do this because you want to become popular. But a lot of people focus on that being famous, and then they lose track. So what advice would you have for young people in Africa who are looking forward to making something out of their life? What would you tell them?
Well, first of all, I would love to say that you are not a minority, right? Africans, you're not a minority. You are Africa, right? You're an African. And because the mindset of minority has limited a lot of people that we are just very small and we are just very undeveloped, and there's no need to push out to becoming all the best you can ever become. And it's not true, because what makes you unique is the ability to take yourself from where you are to push yourself up there to compete with the global standard. Now, I would say this: when I was growing as a young person, right? When I was developing myself, right, I've always developed myself with the world standard. Basically, I would always say, how would the global leader do this? How would people at the top do this, right? And that has been the premise for developing myself. Now, to every young African out there, to people out there, it's important that you know that the Africa that you want to see, or the beauty in Africa that you want to see, is dependent on your work, on the ability, or on the ability, or the energy that you put in developing Africa, right? Because I tell you, Africa has a lot. Africa, we are blessed. We are gifted with so many things. It's just the fear of looking inward to develop what we have. It's just a problem. And if we can take the courage to accepting who we are, first of all, it comes with accepting who we are. We're developing ourselves as young people and pushing out what we have out there. Because there's already this fear of pushing out what we have out there to the world. If I mean the fear of being accepted, the fear of being wanted, the fear of not, of not doing it right, right? So it's normal to always feel that. But if we as young people in Africa are seeking or are willing to make that change, it's important that you look inward and develop everything you have for the world standard. And that's where it starts from, right? Because the Africa that we seek to develop starts from you and I willing to put the effort in making Africa a better place.
Yes.
Because I mean, a lot of people have made comparisons to the Western world, and that is fine.
Yeah.
But we are Africans, and nobody will develop Africa if we do not develop Africa. Nobody will develop ourselves if we do not do that. And so this is a more of a call to every young person out there, that you are the change that we are seeking to see, that you are the change that we want to see. and be the best version of yourself and be the best thing that have ever happened to yourself. And then I believe Africa would be the best and Africa would grow and we would have strong structures to making, I mean, to developing young minds.
That's very impactful and that is very powerful. So before we concluded our conversation, I just wanted to say a big thank you for showing up. Tell us, what would you say failure, what would you say is one of the key reasons why some people fail in a particular area that others succeed in?
Well,
Your view and in your experience, you just talk about mindset, that nobody will develop Africa for us. Wherever we are, we take ourselves there. So if we are waiting for someone to be the change, that change might not come. The change have to start from us. So in that case, mindset is so powerful in whatever it is that we find ourselves doing, and we have to pursue with determination and courage. In that case, what would you say that will be a key factor that will determine why some people will be succeeding in a particular area where others will be struggling? In your experience, or in your view?
From my experience, what I would say that failure is not that it's not that you haven't done well, right? It's not that you did not do well in a particular area, right? It's that you deliberately did not pick up yourself after a particular event that made you feel bad or that you were not doing good at, right? So, for example, for me in my family, I wasn't the smartest in my family, right? I wasn't the smartest, right? All my siblings are all very smart. I think I was the least smartest, right? But one thing I was able to do was to pick up myself in that particular state, to develop myself, right? And then I came to understand what failure is actually. That failure is not when you fail particularly, right? But when you stop developing yourself, when you stop picking up yourself after each failure, is when you truly fail.
Yes.
So I mean, because by default, humans are meant to fail by default, right?
Yes.
But what makes you a true failure, or what makes you a failure, that you decided to plateau in your failure. You said, "Oh, I can't do this anymore. This is maybe I'm born to be a failure." That's when you actually fail, and that's the difference between those who have succeeded and for those who have failed. Because for those who have succeeded are people who failed a lot of times, but decided to pick up themselves after each failure to say, "No, I'm a success." Because from each failure, there's always an experience to learn from. And if you not learn from it, that's your problem. I mean, that's actually you not pay attention to those lessons, right? So because I say this a lot in most of my speaking engagement, that when you fall or when you fail, there are always pieces of wisdom to pick when you fall. And it's a choice to pick this wisdom up and to rise to the next level. So that's what makes every successful person different from everybody who has failed, because they always choose to learn from their failures, and they've never decided to plateau right in that failure. So that's the difference between people who have succeeded and people who have failed.
That is so powerful. As you can see, my first question to you was about some of your drawings that didn't go viral, and then this particular went viral. The answer you just gave me, just summarized that whole thing for me, because those ones didn't go viral doesn't mean that you failed in that aspect. Because this one went viral doesn't necessarily mean that you are successful just because of this one. It simply means that they both need to work hand in hand to project what is to come. And each one of them you have to build upon. You build upon the ones that you were doing before this one also came through. And there will be more coming through that people will be impactful. But this one is a mother and a child. So that is not all there is. There are books that you are writing. There are collaborations you are doing. There are programs that you'll be appearing on. You are among some groups you've been appointed. You want to be a neurosurgeon and all of that stuff. This is just the beginning or the window of what is to come. And so this is where you have succeeded in pursuing and taking your mindset to a certain level and encouraging yourself to keep going. That's why you say you are not the smartest in your family or whatever, but you succeeded in a particular thing that some people will die for. And so what I wanted to do in conclusion is that this is an example of what success and failure look like. What people call success, what people call a failure, is a success in a different way, or it's a different interpretation the way we pursue it. And so to say thank you for coming to this program today is understatement. You have no idea what this means to me personally and to my viewers, my listeners, and all those who will be viewing this video and this particular interview. It will go on my platforms. But the power of your messages that I keep listening to, I hang on to every word that comes from your mouth in regards to what you are doing now and the impact you are having on many people. I count myself very lucky to live to see this, because it is so real. It is so something I have been through it myself, seeing my mom through it and seeing myself. And I'm here today just by the grace, I was just 5 minutes away. So if I'm here today and I'm interviewing you, to me, you are already successful. And the years to come, there will be many more around the world who will be calling your name. I'm staying up with your schedule, your studies, your celebrity. People are calling from all places, but you make the time to be here. I just want to salute you for the great work you are doing for humanity. And thank you so much. I'll be more than happy to keep supporting your work and keep talking about it and shouting it from the rooftop as many times as I get the opportunity. So thank you. If you want to give us your last word, I'll be more than honored to take that.
All right. Thank you for having me today, and it's a pleasure for me. And so I want to just say this quickly. And what I do as a young person is quite important for me and to the world. But it doesn't stop there. Right? It's just more of a call to everybody that we all have roles to play in speaking up for this change. We all have roles to play in speaking up for the message of representation. As an artist, right, I'm using my drawings to advocate for it. For those who are writers, who are singers, it's important that you use your skills or your talent to advocate for more representation. And I believe that Africa, the world, will be a better place for each and every one of us. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We are honored to have you. And viewers, I'm your host, Victoria Glover, and I'm honored to have Chidiebere Ibe today on the show. Thank you so much for honoring the call. Thank you. God bless you. Viewers, you have been watching and listening to VKEYSS Impact Maker Series Chat, powered by VKEYSS Global. This is your place to watch and hear impact makers around the world use their personal stories and business strategies to educate and impact communities and the world as a whole. Each program's chat is designed to help you find the keys to your growth, both personally and professionally. Through the sharing of personal stories, business strategies, and success advice, we hope to inspire and help you flourish and succeed where others are struggling and barely surviving, and to educate you on what your personal style got to do with it all. If this chat resonates with you in any way, shape, or form, please let us know in the comment section. Let us keep the conversation going. And please don't forget to subscribe, connect, and support us for more content like this. Thank you very much.